There was no sound coming from the craft as it started lowering itself a few feet above the ground. Vapors from the craft slowly became a cloud. Jonathan and Joan grabbed their weapons, but Wanyanyekova held their weapons by the barrels. "Did you not hear the voice of the messenger, the ancient Fariji?" Jonathan was shaking. "Hell, I'm afraid of that too. What the fuck is going on here?" Wanyanyekova lowered their weapons toward the ground, saying, "Don't be afraid of that voice either. I'm not sure if any Anikitas or Computans have ever heard the messenger's voice, but neither one of us has ever seen this before." The cloud became thicker and thicker within seconds. A figure appeared 8 feet tall with grayish-white skin. "Please don't be alarmed, for Sabaoth has sent me." Gesturing to them to sit. "Please sit," the being said to them. "I have come a long way just to speak to you all." He took off a golden chain with a black marble-like vial about half an inch long, made from an unknown substance from around his neck, and handed it to Wanyanyekova. "This is for you and your descendants, a gift from Sabaoth. We call it San." Wanyanyekova took the necklace and placed it around his neck. "No one can take it from you unless you give it to them. It shall protect you and those that choose Sabaoth. No man shall receive his San until they have been enlightened. Any man that try will regret it." The being's eyes flashed a few times vertically as it continued. "My name is Z. I'm one of 4 species who have visited Earth many times and for many years, centuries even. We're called the Tall Whites. By looking at Jonathan as he handed him 2 smooth stones. "Make sands with these. However, they will not be as powerful until you meet the one with the glow. Please have a seat. There is much to say." Jonathan stood there frozen with his mouth opened with what appeared to be a smile on Prophet Z's face. Prophet Z gently closed Jonathan's mouth. Jonathan tried to speak, but nothing came out. As the being continued, "As I was saying, we are called the Tall Whites by your people centuries ago, and my species worship and serve Sabaoth as well." He reached into a device and grabbed a book, the Torah, handing it to Wanyanyekova. The language changed from Prophet Z's to English as Wanyanyekova flipped through the pages. "You have many more books than we have," Prophet Z said. "We're also older than any human." He smiled. "I'd walked with the Mshika when he was flesh." The being walked toward Daniel as he looked at Daniel and asked, "May I?" Gesturing to sit next to him, Daniel patted the bed twice. "Sit here." Looking back up, Prophet Z continued, "Please have a seat." Some continued to stand while the rest took a seat. Prophet Z said, "There is much to talk about. It would be best to sit." They finally all sat down as Prophet Z continued. "Many have refused to believe that anyone exists besides themselves. There are over 100 billion galaxies in the foreseen universe and 500 billion planets in the Milky Way alone, and they think they are alone on this small planet, may I add, tiny as it is. Just imagine an ant sitting on a table within your home. Humans are the ants, Earth is the table. Your universe would be the room in which the table seats. Therefore, what would be the other rooms? What would be the house next door and even greater outside the house, the atmosphere, or even space? That ant would be a fool to think he was the only ant. What about the other bugs that live outside of the ants? Foolish thinking for foolish people." Daniel, with a confused look. "Say that again?" Prophet Z looked down at Daniel. "Think of it like this. A solar system is like a neighborhood. It's made up of planets, moons, asteroids, and other objects that are held together by the gravity of its star, usually a sun. A galaxy is like a city. It's made up of billions of stars and other objects, held together by gravity. The universe is like the entire world. It's made up of billions and billions of galaxies, stars, and other objects, held together by gravity. You live in one solar system, within a galaxy, within a universe. There are at least 100 billion galaxies in the universe. Each galaxy could contain anywhere from a few hundred to a few trillion stars. Which means there are trillions of solar systems in the universe." Pointing at Joan and Jonathan. "They can explain it if you are still confused."